What's up, guys? Griffin here breaking down some of my favorite bets for Sunday's slate of NBA games. Sunday might be on for most people about the NFL, but there are still some great potential bets for NBA matchups on November 20th. As always, take advantage of the OddsJam odds listings to find the best potential odds for any of these bets. They do always recommend to have accounts with as many sports books as possible to take advantage of the best odds and to ensure that you're maximizing your sportsbook bonuses and sign-up bonuses. Make sure you're going to oddsjam.com to take advantage of those sign-up bonuses. All of them are available on their website. All of the odds listings for any of these bets are going to be available on their website. It is a perfect tool for finding the right bets and finding the right sports books to work with. All right, so let's get into it. November 20th. We've got a couple games or one game really in particular that we're going to talk about with a couple different bets. We've got a matchup between the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. Over the lifetime of both of these teams, they're really close to being 500 against each other. Obviously, the Knicks have had a number of fairly down years recently. The Suns very up and down. Right now, they're in one of those up periods, in the mid-2000s during the Steve Nash 7 seconds or less Suns. They had a really good run there where they got a lot of wins on the Knicks. Right now, however, they're 8-0 against the Knicks since the 2018-2019 season. So they have not lost a game to them in about 4 years. In that time, Devin Booker's played against the Knicks in 7 of those games, and he scored over 30 in 6 of those 7 matchups. For whatever reason, Booker thrives against New York, whether the game's in New York or Phoenix. There's really not a huge difference between his home and away splits. And we are coming off of Booker's 49-point outburst against the Jazz on Friday night, where he was all over the court. Chris Paul still out of the Suns roster right now. Booker kind of did it all. Unfortunately, he did take the loss, and the Phoenix Suns were defeated by the Jazz. But 49 points, I think 8 rebounds, 10 assists on over 50% shooting. Booker is clearly in his bag right now. I think these big scoring performances are going to keep going, particularly while Chris Paul is out. So, Booker definitely a player to be watching. That being the case, we've got 2 bets that we're going to talk about for the Suns game. First one is going to be Suns -7. The Suns have one of the best margins of victory in the league this year. When they win often, they win big. They're having a really good year. Last year was a really good year. The year prior to that was a really good year. Basically, since the bubble where they went 8-0, the Suns have been on one of the hottest streaks in basketball. Obviously accepting that Game 7 collapse against the Dallas Mavericks. And in their 8-game win streak against the Knicks in the past 4 years, they've won by double digits 5 times. And in only one game during that streak did they win by less than 8 points. In that game, they were missing both Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So we can kind of, give them an exception for that. They still won. Let's keep it 100. They still won that game, but they only won by single digits. And they did not. It was a very close win. So, that kind of is what it is. With that being the case, the Suns winning dominantly against the Knicks all the time. We're going to take Suns -7. It feels almost guaranteed based on historical results between both these teams and how they look right now. And we should be able to find pretty good odds for that. The Suns are obviously favored in this matchup. They should be favored. They will probably, as long as Devin Booker is on this team and the Knicks are the Knicks, they will continue to be favored. But Suns -7 against the Knicks on Sunday evening. Our second bet of the day, we already talked about him a lot, Devin Booker. We're going to stick with him and we're going to stick with this matchup. And we're going to take Devin Booker over 28 points. Booker's averaging 28.1 points per game. So just over what our suggested bet is. And in his past 5 games, he scored 49, 27, 25, 17, and 32. He's averaging about 30 points per game in that stretch. We do have to pay attention to the outliers a little bit. The 49-point explosion from Friday night and the 17-point game and a bad loss to Orlando. Those are outliers, so we can kind of ignore them. But Booker's a safe bet to score 25 plus basically every night, particularly while Chris Paul is out. And with New York in the bottom third of the league in scoring defense, we can expect him to hit or exceed his averages for the season. So we're going to lock that one in as well. Devin Booker over 28 points. If you can find good odds on over 27.5 or over 26.5, if you do want to knock the number down a little bit, thinking that he's going to be a little bit closer to a 25-point game, by all means, give those a look. But the Knicks are relatively average to below average on defense. Booker is one of the best scorers in the league right now. He's one of the most efficient scorers in the league right now. And he's a relatively sure bet to have a pretty good scoring night against the New York Knicks. Those are our two bets for today. Suns -7, Devin Booker over 28 points. Make sure, like I said, you're using OddsJam to lock those in. Make sure you're tuning into this channel for any additional odds picks that we're going to make throughout the week. We're going to try and have these coming out, 4 or 5 days a week. So make sure you're paying attention to @GiveGoShow on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on Twitter as well, @TheGiveAndGoShow, and on Instagram @GiveGoShow. We're on all those different platforms, and you'll be able to find picks there. You'll be able to pay attention to our weekly NBA podcast there. And make sure you're following OddsJam on all social media and on YouTube as well, so that you can stay in the loop about any good recommended bets. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.